Well, a couple of weeks ago I picked up a PS2 Slim from a car boot for 20 quid. I was very chuffed. It had the power supply, it had the AV lead, and it had 2 controllers. And even better, when I got it home, it worked. Disk drive worked, everything fine, apart from the controllers didn't work. These are the DualShock controllers, and they are the H version, which tend to be the ones that go wrong due to the fact that the membrane on them that sort of perishes and has to be replaced. Unfortunately, you can't just pull out the membrane and put a new one in the socket because they're crimped on. So these are a little bit of a pain, but there is a way of fixing them. But what you need is a new socket and a new membrane, as something falls off the desk. So there is the membrane. Now the weird thing about these membranes is you can either get them with 19 connections or 18 connections. You only need 18 connections, but what you want to ensure is that this membrane will go into this socket. So you do not want to get a 19 membrane connection one with an 18 socket. I have got here, what have I got? I have got a 19 pin socket, but I'm going to put in an 18 connection membrane. I thought I'd got 18 and 18, but I didn't. All it means is I have to go to the side. One of these connections is redundant. That's the reason for it. That last connection goes nowhere, so you do not need it. Anyway, let me show you how to open this up, and let's start. I got the socket and the membrane both through AliExpress, all fairly cheap, worth getting a few of them. First time I've used AliExpress. I suppose I'll be using them a lot more as I'm doing more and more fixing. Right, to get this open, I'm sure this is pretty straightforward. I'm using a 2.5 crosshead screwdriver, 6 screws, and then we'll get in. There we go, all in. And to get it off the front housing, there is another final screw that goes through the board onto the front casing. And I just push the little joysticks, and there we go. Okay, once you're in, this is the membrane that is knackered, and you will not be able to fix it. No amount of cleaning is going to make that better. So just best thing to do is remove it. You can cut it, or you can get a craft knife, whatever you want to do. Snip that off. Unhook it from these bits and chuck that in the bin. And you can then kind of make things a little bit easier by just moving this out from the plastic housing. There we go. Move that away in case you melt it, because we've got some I'm going to get the hot air gun on this, so the hot air gun will be just pointed at this. It may well melt this, but this is all being chucked anyway. I'm going to melt all these solder points and remove this old socket. I've set my heat gun to 360. I've just got the tweezers in behind it to get a bit of leverage. This is where I wish I had sort of one of those handy helper things. And plastic is melting. That is not brilliant, but I have not used the heat gun that much, so but it's got it off. It hasn't damaged any pads, which is good. I'm going to clear that up now with a bit of isopropyl. Right, give this a quick clean up. I'm going to do the rest under the microscope. This is a sticky pad, I think, so you do have to be aware of that kind of when cleaning it up. I'm going to get this under the microscope. I think I'm probably going to have to dub over because it doesn't record audio. But I'm going to put some flux along here. I'm not going to put a lot of solder on my tip. I've done this once as a practice, and I found that you don't need much solder to get the new socket on. And it's quite good practice. I think this is good practice for HDMI ports. I doubt that's going to focus, but these pins are very, very kind of small, quite delicate, and yeah, you do not need a lot of solder to make that connection. Okay, here is the edited highlights of the soldering, which didn't go exactly to plan, but it wasn't too bad. So I'm just lining up the socket here with all the pads. That's how it should be. And what I should have had is something to clip this on. I was trying to hold it on with my thumb and it wasn't cutting the mustard, basically. So there's a little bit of flux going on to help things flow a bit. And I'm going to bring the iron, I think I'm about 350, 360 degrees. I've got the tiniest bit of soldering. You can see that left hand pin is the redundant pin. It doesn't go anywhere. But I'm kind of just trying to clean up the pads, making sure they've all got like a nice bit of solder on there so that I can solder on that socket all the pins are going to make a good connection. So that's all done. I think after that I gave it a bit of a clean up, and look here I am just trying to do the first few, which isn't easy at all. If I can get 3 or 4 done, I kind of think, well, that means that they will be holding steady. I think in hindsight, maybe I should have had a clip, or I should have been pressing down with my tweezers on it. I'm going from the other side now to try and do the ones I didn't do. And after this, I did make sure with the tweezers that each pin was sort of secure. I had to do it about 3 times because I was finding that some of the pins weren't secure. I also was getting quite a lot of bridges. This is why you don't want to have too much solder, and I had to wick that away. But I've edited that all out to make me look a bit brilliant. But you can see here the pins are slightly to the left, but each one was solid. So I'm making sure each one is connected. There's no bridges there. And I did do a little test with the ribbon in as well. But yeah, each of those is not moving at all. So I was happy with how it turned out. And now as the light fades on another fixing day, it's time to see whether I've actually made it any better. What I used to test these adapters, a USB adapter that you can get on Amazon for a few quid. I got mine about 10 years ago. And I used to use going to control panel and all that sort of stuff, but now I just use this website, Gamepad Tester. So this is plugged into the back of my PC, and I'm going to go through the D-pad. So up, right, down, left, that all works. The 2 sticks, going to press down on those. B10, B11, going to spin them round. All looking good. And then go through triangle, circle, cross, square, they're all working. Select, start. I don't think analog does anything. No. Oh, you can see it's being pressed here. Oh, B12 input, yeah. And then the left one, left 2, right 1, right 2. So, all looking good. Happy that that's been fixed. I've got a box of about 10 of them to do, so hopefully I should get a bit better with each one. And I think it's very good practice for doing HDMI, all those pins very close together, making sure that each one is connected. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do give it a thumbs up. I'm trying to sort of grow the channel a little bit. Hopefully I'll get to 100 subs soon. But if you've got any suggestions for fixes, or if you want anything fixed, do let me know, and I'll catch you for the next one. Take it easy.